In this video, we will explore 50 surprising similarities between two of the most beloved spiritual figures in history, Krishna and Jesus. Despite being from different times and cultures, both have inspired millions of people with their profound teachings, compassion, and divine presence. From their birth stories to their teachings on love and compassion, we will uncover the deep connections and universal truths that underlie these two major religions. Get ready to be amazed as we discover the 50 surprising similarities between Krishna and Jesus. 1. Both Krishna and Jesus are considered divine incarnations by their followers. 2. Both were born under unusual circumstances. Krishna was born in a prison cell, while Jesus was born to a virgin. 3. Both were visited by wise men or sages shortly after their birth. 4. Both were said to have performed miracles and healed the sick. 5. Both preached about love, compassion, and forgiveness. 6. Both were persecuted by the ruling authorities of their time. 7. Both were betrayed by someone close to them. 8. Both were crucified, died, and then resurrected. 9. Both taught the importance of detachment from material possessions. 10. Both taught the importance of prayer and meditation. 11. Both advocated for the welfare of the poor and oppressed. 12. Both taught the importance of living a righteous life. 13. Both emphasized the importance of faith and devotion. 14. Both were considered to be saviors by their followers. 15. Both were seen as powerful spiritual leaders who attracted a large following. 16. Both were criticized and opposed by traditional religious leaders of their time. 17. Both taught that the kingdom of God was within and could be experienced through spiritual practice. 18. Both taught that the material world was temporary and illusory. 19. Both emphasized the importance of selflessness and service to others. 20. Both taught that the ultimate goal of human life is spiritual enlightenment. 21. Both used parables and stories to convey spiritual truths to their followers. 22. Both taught that the ultimate source of happiness and fulfillment is within, not external circumstances. 23. Both were seen as teachers and guides by their followers. 24. Both were said to have descended from heaven to bring spiritual teachings to humanity. 25. Both taught that the path to spiritual enlightenment requires self-discipline and self-control. 26. Both were seen as models of virtue and goodness. 27. Both were said to have the power to forgive sins. 28. Both were seen as examples of self-sacrifice for the benefit of others. 29. Both taught that true freedom comes from detachment and renunciation. 30. Both taught that love and compassion are the most important virtues. 31. Both taught that spiritual truth is accessible to everyone, regardless of social status or background. 32. Both taught that the path to spiritual realization requires surrender to a higher power. 33. Both taught that the ultimate reality is beyond the grasp of the human mind. 34. Both were seen as sources of wisdom and guidance for their followers. 35. Both taught that the universe is governed by a divine plan. 36. Both taught that the goal of human life is to attain a state of oneness with the divine. 37. Both taught that the physical body is not the true self, but a temporary vehicle for the soul. 38. Both taught that the mind is the source of suffering and that spiritual liberation comes through transcendence of the mind. 39. Both taught that the ego is the source of bondage and that spiritual freedom comes through the dissolution of the ego. 40. Both taught that the universe is a manifestation of the divine consciousness. 41. Both taught that the ultimate reality can be experienced through direct perception, not just through intellectual understanding. 42. Both taught that the path to spiritual realization involves the purification of the mind and heart. 43. Both taught that the ultimate goal of spiritual practice is union with the divine. 44. Both taught that the universe is pervaded by a divine energy or force. 45. Both taught that the human soul is immortal and indestructible. 46. Both taught that the ultimate reality is beyond dualities such as good and evil, right and wrong. 47. Both taught that the path to spiritual realization involves the cultivation of virtues such as humility, kindness, and compassion. 47. Both taught that the path to spiritual realization involves the cultivation of virtues such as humility, kindness, and compassion. 48. Both taught that the universe is a manifestation of the divine will. 49. Both taught that the path to spiritual realization involves self-inquiry and introspection.